For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Live Bet Sunday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Welcome back into Live Bet Sunday as we begin the third hour of the program with you here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. I'm Grace Remington with Will Hill, keeping you updated on every sport across the sports world today. We've been tracking this NBA Game 7 all program long. Denver waved the white flag probably at the 4-minute mark, taking out their starters, and now this game is wrapping up. Just seconds left in regulation. OKC about to win 125, to 93. But what did we learn today, Will, from this Thunder team?
Thunder is still pretty good. And what are we at here in terms of, finally said 125 to 93? So let's see. It's going to go over, though. It went over. Wow. This was a dead under for the whole way, but OKC just explodes in the second half. Your team total on Denver looked good, but we're at 218 in terms of the points, so this does sneak over the total here. So tough one if you have the unders. They're going to run out the clock. It is 125-93 final. We do have a lineup for not only Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals, which will begin on Tuesday, but for the series. OKC minus 7.5 in Game 1. OKC minus 300 for the series. About what I'd expect. Nothing I'm dying to bet. If you look at the series markets, the correct series score, OKC in 5 plus 330. That's the short shot. OKC in 7 plus 360. OKC to sweep is 5-1. OKC in 6 is 5-1. I think that's the one I'd probably like the most. I haven't dove into it yet. Minnesota, like I said, has played them tough in the regular season the last year or two. I know they played them pretty well in the regular season this year. And I think that was one of the games where Minnesota was down really big late and came back and won in the middle of the season. It's always dangerous to compare the regular season to the postseason. But this feels like OKC in 5-6. I don't think it'll go 7. I don't think Minnesota wins. So I'd probably lean towards OKC in 6 at the 5-1. Like I said, the series price looks about right. On an interesting note here, we're going to get a first-time champion or a new champion, or first time in a while champion, no matter who it is. OKC, the last time they won a championship, they weren't OKC. They were the Seattle Sonics in 1979. Knicks haven't won since 1973. Indiana hasn't won since 1972, I believe. And Minnesota has never won. So a long time for whoever wins, they're going to be coming off of a long drought or a first-time champion. So OKC going to the Western Conference Finals, and I think eventually the NBA Finals. I mentioned earlier that I thought maybe your last chance to take OKC on a future at minus 120. It's up to minus 150 now. I think that's justified. I know people don't want to lay minus $1.50, tie up their money. You have to win 2 rounds. You have to wait a month to cash it. I think you're okay to bet that. I think OKC wins the title here, Grace.
Yeah. I love the history that you mentioned, that we're going to get a first-time champion. That's always cool. As a casual fan, I'm kind of, rooting for those underdog stories, just something new, I guess. Sure. It is crazy, though, all the, the Cavs getting knocked out early, the Celtics getting knocked out early. I guess the Thunder holding strong for the 1 seeds here. But just looking over the box score here, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander leading the way with 35 points. Chet Holmgren with a double-double, 13 points, 11 rebounds. Jalen Williams soars over all of his props, 24 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds. Then on the Denver side, Christian Braun with 19 points, Nikola Jokic with 29 and 7, Jamal Murray with 13. So another series wraps up. It is interesting. Well, are you surprised, though, it even went to a Game 7? Because remember coming into this, I think I previewed the series with you, and even a lot of guests we spoke to, everyone thought, oh, maybe the Nuggets, they'll get 1 game because of Jokic. But I think the fact
6.
this went to 7 is probably. Oh, I know you did. Yeah. But it says something. It says something about this Denver team, especially after the coaching change too.
Absolutely. And if you look back, I mean, it was, you and I were doing the show last week. Denver was up 8 in the fourth quarter, about to go up 3-1, couldn't close that out. And then game 5, it's 2-2. They're up 80-68 end of the third quarter, couldn't close that out. They could have won this series. Now, look, they stole one in game 1, but no, Denver showed themselves very well here. I mean, you don't get anything for trying or coming close, especially when you have the best player in the world. And he's not at the age yet where you start to say, oh, he's going to get older. But they don't have a lot around Jokic. So they won a championship 2 years ago, ran out of steam last year, didn't have enough this year. You wonder, the clock is ticking. Jokic is the best player in the world. He's not going to be the best player in the world, probably 5 years from now, maybe 3 years from now. I mean, you don't have that big of a window here to win a championship. So from that perspective, you give Denver credit. It was a good series. It was a good fight, good run, all that stuff. But when you got the best player in the world and you lose in the second round, that is it's tough from that perspective. I did pick this OKC in 6. I got it plus 475. I was able to get off some of that, really most of that in game 6, and just take Denver plus the points and go for middle. So Denver exceeded expectations, but ultimately it is OKC moving on here. Is there anyone you're rooting from, just from like a fan standpoint? Like if I told you right now, who do you want to win the championship? Like who would you say?
Honestly, probably the Pacers.
Okay.
And it's literally just me fading the popular team. Like, respectfully, I think New York fans are kind of annoying, but everyone thinks that.
Wow.
So I don't think I can get in trouble for saying that. Like, everyone outside of New York thinks that. I was happy for them the other night. Like, I know that was their biggest win this century.
Right.
But who else? Yeah, no, I just think the Pacers are really likable. I don't know. I see like social media videos from the fan base, and they're just fun.
If it's ever Pacers Timberwolves in the final, if it's ever Pacers Timberwolves in the final, that would be
at that point.
That would be the weirdest NBA final I can ever remember. I don't think it'll get that. I think we're looking at OKC versus the Knicks, which it's kind of a weird one too. And I think whoever comes out of the West, especially if it's OKC, is in very good shape to hold up the trophy. But that would be a strange final if it's ever Minnesota versus Indiana.
That would. You know what else would be strange is Scottie Scheffler not winning tournaments. He just scored back-to-back birdies on 14 and 15. Now he heads into the most difficult part of the tournament, the Green Mile. However, he is one of 16 golfers in this tournament to score to par or under on those Green Miles. So he has now taken a 4-stroke lead above Jon Rahm. The winner market has been taken off the books. Now the only thing you can bet is winner without Scottie Scheffler. And JT Poston's actually the favorite there at plus 180. Then it's Harris English at plus 240. Jon Rahm at plus 260. Bryson at plus 360. And Bryson just wrapped up his tournament with a 70. He finishes 7 under for the tournament. Let me see how he finished here. So he did shoot par on those final 3, but went 2 under in those last 5, which would be good against obviously it's good against the rest of the field, but when you have Scottie there at the top, it's a little tough. But I'm looking at JT, trying to figure out. I think the odds got longer for Jon Rahm because he just scored his first bogey of the day. He shot a 5 on the par 4 16. Whereas, let me see if JT Poston's on that list of guys who have done well on the Green Mile. Sorry, I'm looking at this live. Yeah, he is. So he
DeChambeau's at the plus 360 now for DeChambeau to be the winner without Scheffler. Poston plus 130, Harris English plus 230. I don't know that there's a great bet that lies in there. Is there anything that jumps off the page to you in terms of those 4?
Well, I was just trying to figure out why Poston has shorter odds than Rahm, and it's because he is one of the 16 players who has done well on the Green Mile. He's stayed at even par on each hole all through all 4 or 3 rounds, I guess. So I think that's why he's actually the favorite here over Rahm. Well, and he has more opportunities, but nothing I'd play at this point. I mean, I got my DeChambeau top 10. I think I got, I have a Keegan Bradley. Don't tell me he fell out. No, he's tied for 6. So I got him top 10 and 20. I should be good there. It was a weird tournament. Very weird tournament. Kind of happy we're out of it now. Ready to move on to next week. Lots of weird weather stuff. We had the rain earlier in the week, the mud balls everyone was dealing with in the first 2 days. Then we had wind yesterday. So you do all this handicapping and then, well, Scheffler wins in the end. So
shouldn't we have known? Shouldn't we have seen this coming? He gets locked up at this tournament last year. He has to go to jail, and then a year later, he's holding up the trophy. We should have seen this coming? This is a sports movie waiting to happen. Yes.
I know, it really is. By the way, I have been lucky enough to go to Quail Hollow. Absolutely beautiful, especially inside the clubhouse. I don't know if you've ever gotten to visit down there. You're a little bit north of Charlotte, but gosh. Also, I will say, knowing what the weather, it gets steamy in Charlotte this time of year. So just the fact that everyone survived this weekend too. Props to them, props to the reporters, props to the fans. We finally saw fans come out yesterday and today. The first 2 rounds of the tournament were kind of quiet, which is a little bit of a bummer for a major tournament, but ended up being a good turnout. So, and now we got the NBA to look forward to this week. So we'll go back to that Eastern Conference final after this break. We got to take a look in on these MLB games. Actually, coming up next, we're going to get into Sunday Night Baseball, the Subway Series between the Mets and the Yankees. Brian McKeon from the Locked On Yankees podcast going to give us some update on the game itself, maybe some leans he has, and just some thoughts on the Yankees this season. So looking forward to Brian McKeon joining us on the other side of this break. This is Live Bet Sunday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Thanks for being here.
This is Live Bet Sunday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Welcome back into Live Bet Sunday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. I'm Grace Remington with Will Hill. Following all the action across the sports world today, and now let's get some wagers in on this closing game of the Subway Series between the Mets and the Yankees. Brian McKeon, host of the Locked On Yankees podcast, joins us on the Progressive guest line now. Brian, happy Sunday, and thanks so much for joining us today. Want to start off by talking about the potential Cy Young winner for the Yankees, who's pitching for them tonight. He has a 1.11 ERA. Not sure that's sustainable, but a great start to the season for him nonetheless. How does this compare to the preseason expectations the Yankees had for him?
Yeah, I think I appreciate you guys having me. I think the expectations for Max Fried this year kind of changed after the Garrett Cole injury, because when they got Max Fried, it was, oh, what a great addition. He could pitch behind Carlos Rodon as a third guy in this rotation. It would be awesome to have him there. And then all of a sudden, the expectations moved up, and he had to become the ace of the staff, which, quite frankly, he's been. He's been that good for them so far. A 1 ERA. They haven't lost a start that he's started this year so far. He's been that good for them. And you're right. I don't think these expectations can be expected for him throughout the rest of the year. But so far, he's been the best pitcher in the American League by far. And I don't think anyone can say they've expected that out of him.
What did you expect from the Yankees coming into the season? No Stanton, no Cole. Obviously, Soto moves on. And how do you feel now that we're about 6 weeks in? Where are you at here with the Yanks?
The expectations lowered, I'd say. Coming in, I don't think there's any way that you could have expected them to have anything less than the American League Championship Series. After what they did last year, plus getting upgrades in the pitching staff, now you do lose Juan Soto. But still, the rest of the American League, if you're a Yankee fan, shouldn't scare you that much. There's not much other better competition in the American League. I guess the Tigers are really good this year. That is certainly true. But the American League East shouldn't scare you. The rest of the division shouldn't scare you. The rest of the Central shouldn't scare you no matter what. So overall, I think coming in, it was a bummer when Garrett Cole got hurt. Certainly the expectations, I think, got lowered. But I'm right back on the train of they should be in contention to win the American League this year. I'm right back there because they've been really good. They lead the American League East. We expected Boston to be better. Boston hasn't been really great this year. Toronto's been pretty good. Tampa's been so-so, and Baltimore's been way worse than you could have possibly imagined. So my expectations are right back on it. They should be in the American League Championship Series. They should win the American League. And they should really hope that someone picks off the Dodgers in the National League so they have a chance of winning a World Series.
The Yankees right now minus 240 to win the East. They're also the shortest favorite to win the AL pennant, plus 270 at Bet365. Let's get back to tonight's game, and I want to take a look at Max Fried's strikeout prop set at 5.5. Do you feel any which way about this one?
Yeah, I would actually play the under here. The Mets tend to not strike out a lot. They put the ball in play a good amount. And Max Fried, not necessarily known for his strikeouts, right? He gives guys pitches to hit. And I think that's part of the reason why he's been able to go deep into games for the Yankees this year, because he puts the ball in play. Now, doesn't allow hard contact, that's for sure. He allows a lot of ground balls, a lot of pop flies. So I actually would like the under in that spot. I don't think he strikes out a lot of guys, but he probably goes deep into the game. I'll also note Max Fried's kind of due for a bummer at some point here, right? Like, he's not going to keep pitching 7 innings of 1-run ball for the entire season. Plus, the Mets have a really good offense. I'd play the under here.
Do you have any feel here for a total? 9.5, 2 good offenses, 6-2 in the first game, 3-2 Nets yesterday as Diaz is able to mow through the Yankees in the bottom of the ninth. Any feel for tonight in terms of the side of the total here at 9.5?
Yeah, 9.5 does feel high, but I would play 9.5 in this part. They haven't gotten those big run production games so far to these two teams. I will say this, though. The bullpen's been used in both games. Both high-end relievers for both teams have been used in these games. And the Yankees, for certain, never like to use their high-end relievers more than 2 days in a row. So you're not going to see those guys that have pitched in games 1 and 2. And there's a good chance you could see runs scored late in this game. So actually what I would do here, I would see how the first couple innings play out, and if you're having a low-scoring game, 5th, 6th inning, I'd put a live over at that point. I think you'd have a better chance of hitting one at that point than you would early on in the game.
The bat of Aaron Judge has been pretty quiet this series. He hasn't had an extra base hit. He has 1 walk, but 4 strikeouts. What are the Mets doing so well to keep him quiet?
Yeah, you know what's funny about that is Aaron Judge has been so good over the this season in particular. I don't know if the Mets are doing anything to him to slow him down. I just think he's had a bad 2 games, and that's from Aaron Judge's standards. Because, quite frankly, nobody really slows Aaron Judge down. There's not really a way to slow him down this year. He has become the ultimate power hitter who doesn't strike out. He doesn't give in. He doesn't give you outs. He's involved in, he'll easily take a walk. He'll easily take a base hit. He'll easily put a ball in the gap. There is nothing about his game that leads to him not having power, not having production, not putting the ball in play. He's been that good all year. So quite honestly, I don't think it's anything the Mets have done with their pitching, with the way they've attacked him. I think it's just Aaron Judge who has struggled for 2 games. Because would any of you be surprised if Aaron Judge goes 2 for 4 tonight with a walk? No one would. So that's how good he's been. I don't think it's anything the Mets have particularly done, to be honest with you.
How do you handicap the rest of this American League? You mentioned the Tigers have played well. Twins have played great as of late. Royals are still there. And then you got the West with the Rangers coming on. Seattle, is there a team you expect to make a run like Boston? What are just some big picture thoughts here, and what is a watered-down American League?
Yeah, so what I'd say is the Texas Rangers scare me. Just the potential of what that starting staff has, and particularly Jacob deGrom. You've seen the last couple of starts now. He's gotten into a role, and if he can keep that up with what their offense can provide once Seager's healthy, they kind of scare me. I don't think Houston scares anyone at this point. Seattle can pitch, but they can't score. And you kind of need a good blend of both going on, especially late in the season. So Seattle wouldn't really scare me too much. Detroit is an interesting one, right? Because they've played really well this year, but there's a lot of youth on that team, and they're new to this. Now, last year's playoff run will certainly help, but I don't know if in a big playoff series you'd like someone like Detroit who's not as experienced as the Yankees in those moments. So Texas does scare me, though. You got the World Series pedigree from 2 years ago. There's something to prove after missing the postseason last year. Plus, their pitching staff is back healthy. Texas would really scare me. And the last one that you mentioned, that I'm going to sound like a cocky Yankee fan here, but I don't know if anyone can really fight me on this. Does Minnesota ever scare you if you're a Yankee fan? they're not going to, until they beat the Yankees in a meaningful game, they're never going to scare me. So, yeah, they've played great as of late, and they've certainly been starting back. But honestly, no one in the Central ever beats the Yankees in a big, meaningful game. So, between Detroit's youth, Cleveland not being able to get it done last year, and Minnesota, the Yankees should win the American League this year. Now, we'll see how the rest of the season plays out. Certainly, the trade deadline will be a big thing for all those teams in the Central, but no one should scare the Yankees, and they should expect to win the American League. That's how good they've been so far. That's how good Max Fried's been so far. They're certainly going to try and upgrade at the deadline. I think Nolan Arenado will probably be a Yankee at the end of July. So, yeah, I'm not going to sit here and as a Yankee fan and tell you that they shouldn't win the American League. It should be their series to win, honestly. It should be there. They should be in the World Series.
Well, the Yankees play the Rangers starting on Tuesday, so that should give us a lot of information, maybe a little postseason preview there. Right now, the Yankees plus 270 to win the AL. Then it's the Tigers 5-1, and then the Rangers anywhere from plus 850 to 10-1. So depending on how you think that series goes next week, maybe now's the time to jump on the Rangers or wait to bet the Yankees. Brian, I'm told you're a Knicks fan. Is that true?
Yeah. So I'm born in I'm born and raised New Yorker. So if you're a born and raised New Yorker and you're a sports fan, you're a Knicks fan. Nets fans don't really exist out here. I'm going to be honest with you guys. But yeah, growing up, I mean, I've been a huge Knicks fan my whole life, and seeing it, this is one of those runs that you kind of never expected you'd ever see, right? A conference finals for the Knicks in a series that, let's be real, they could win this series. There are people who said they should win this series. They're not out of this at all. And I think going into the Boston series as a minus 900 dog, did anyone think the Knicks had a prayer of winning the Boston series? So after they win that, yeah, you got lucky with the Tatum stuff, but Tatum didn't get injured until the end of the Knicks going up 3-1 in a game. So I got to be honest with you, they absolutely could win a championship this year, which is insane coming out of someone's mouth that's a Knicks fan. If you grew up like this thinking that they can actually win a title, I mean, look at these odds right now that you guys have up on the screen. I mean, the Knicks could actually win a championship, which is coming out of someone's mouth is insane. It almost sounds as crazy as saying the Rangers could win a championship, the New York Rangers. So, yeah, seeing the Knicks possibility of winning a championship, I think they actually could get it done, is wild. And honestly, as a New Yorker, a dream come true.
That's awesome. Well, happy for you and enjoy the Knicks playoff run. Real quick, in about 15 seconds, can you let everyone know where we can find you and your work?
Yeah, so Locked On Yankees, we're live Monday through Friday. Every single day you can find us up in the mornings. At night we go live on YouTube TV, everywhere you could possibly imagine, anywhere you get your podcasts. Really appreciate your guys' support.
Awesome. Brian McKeon, host of the Locked On Yankees podcast. Thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy the game tonight.
Thanks, Brian. You guys too.
All right, more Live Bet Sunday after this. You're watching VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Live Bet Sunday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Welcome back into Live Bet Sunday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. I'm Grace Remington with Will Hill, recapping all the day's action for you. We had a Game 7 in the NBA. The Thunder win in a blowout, 125-93, covering the 8.5 and just barely going over that 214.5. Although if you faded the Nuggets team total, like I did, the under 98.5, that one cashed. So I think that kind of makes sense. There's a correlation between big favorites and overs. So that one played out. But what did we learn from the Thunder today, Will? And how do you like them moving forward?
What did we learn from the Thunder? Still good at basketball, I guess, would be my answer. Down 21-10 early, just as our show was starting. Man, maybe the moment's too big here. They're too young. They're not ready. Denver's more experienced. Not the case. OKC just completely takes them behind the woodshed. Tough beat if you had the under, because that was trending way, way under for a good part of the game, and it lands 218, so it goes over all the numbers. I remember looking at the live total, and you pointed it out, saying, hey, maybe go for a middle now. It was like 201, 202 It soars past that. OKC just dominates the second half, really from the second quarter on. This was OKC dominance. I think OKC is in good shape now to advance to a finals and to win a championship. They've been the best team all year. Now, it hasn't mattered in the East, where the Celtics and the Cavs, we thought they were on a collision course for a final, and obviously neither of them are going to get there, which is still remarkable to think about. But OKC is a monster favorite here, minus 300 against the T-Wolves. They'd be even bigger favorites against whoever comes out of the East. I kind of lean towards OKC. I'm torn between like 5 or 6. I think 5's a little dismissive of Minnesota. Minnesota's played them well. I don't think it goes 7. Granted, I didn't think Denver would take them to 7. So I'll say OKC. Slight nudge to like 6. Again, I'm torn between the 5 and the 6. I don't think it's a sweep. I don't think it's 7. I don't think Minnesota wins the series. So it's in my mind one of those two results. And I acknowledge that we've gotten a lot of surprises here in the NBA, but I think OKC is in good shape, and I do think they will be playing the New York Knicks. I think the Knicks outlast the Pacers in that series. That should be a fun series. Why it starts on Wednesday when the Pacers have been done for a week and the Knicks were done on Friday, I don't know why they get so much time off, but to me, that's a good series, a long series. I did play over 5.5 games. Knicks Pacers, I'm okay laying the minus 165 or so on that one. I think that's a long series. I think the Knicks ultimately, with the 7th game at home, get it to 7, win in the Garden in 7. That will be a raucous environment, really, with both home crowds. But I was mentioning this earlier. Whoever wins the championship is either a first-time champion or hasn't won since basically the 70s. So some new blood, some fresh blood. I think that's good for the league. So should be a good version of the NBA's Final Four here as we move on. And we got a hockey game tonight, hockey game 7. So we didn't get much drama in the PGA. We didn't get much drama in the NBA game 7. Maybe we'll get some drama. These hockey game 7s usually deliver. And by the way, and I'll throw it to you after this, if you had Rahm top 5, if you had Rahm top live golfer, which is a market, maybe time to go for a walk, crack a beverage, take a nap, do something, because that is a tough beat. He just completely fell apart. We're sitting here an hour and a half ago. Him and Scheffler are tied, and he completely comes apart at the seams here, and Scheffler running away with this tournament.
Yeah, that was pretty bananas. He was 9 under for most of the day, hanging around that number, and then finishes the last 3 holes bogey double, and he sinks to 5 under. So that was pretty rough. Right now, DeChambeau, Riley, Poston, and Harris English tied at 6 under, tied in second. So right now, looks like Scheffler well on his way to win his 3rd major and kind of get rid of the only knock against him, if you can call it that, is that he hadn't won a major outside the friendly confines of Augusta National. This will be his first non-Masters major win, though he has been a contender in every major just about since 2021. That's 17 majors, and he's been top 10 in 12 of those. So dominant in the best tournaments, no doubt, but it feels weird to say we finally see him win, but I didn't even realize that till today. Because it's just, he wins everywhere, but we really hadn't seen him win a major besides the Masters. So the one thing going against him, he finally gets rid of today, and boosts an already fantastic resume there, but that was pretty insane. If you were betting into the winner without Scotty markets, it was JT Poston was the favorite, then John Rahm, then Bryson at plus 360. Although if this 4-way tie holds, I guess Bryson wouldn't end up being the winner there. I had him top 10 and top 20, so I'm happy with that. It was a weird tournament. Kind of happy to move on here. I had a top 20 on Keegan Bradley. That'll cash. He's tied for 9th. Corey Connors had an uncharacteristic round 3, but bounces back today, and it looks like he'll stay here at tied 19th. So ended up being an okay tournament for me, but I'm kind of just happy to get out of this one. It was weird. Back to basketball, though. The Thunder minus 330 series favorite against the T-Wolves. The T-Wolves plus 265 on the series line. The Knicks minus 145 to beat the Pacers, who are plus 125. Then looking at the total games, both lines at 5.5, juice to the over. Thunder T-Wolves minus 150. Knicks Pacers minus 170. So the market would tell us we should get some drawn out series here, which is exciting. More games to bet. That's always great for us. But I want to take a look at the betting splits too, which are exclusive to VSiN.com. You can find those with your VSiN Pro subscription. Still a little bit early, but looking at the action on this Pacers-Knicks game for Wednesday, the Knicks, a 4.5-point favorite. They are holding 60% of the bets, 100% of the handle at Circa. And then you take a look at DraftKings, 44% of the bets, 58% of the handle. So looks like both sides of the market are kind of on the Knicks there. The total 223 at Circa, 80% of the bets, 98% of the handle to the over. DraftKings is showing 65% of the bets and tickets, bets and handle to the over. So once again, both books in agreement there. And then this T-Wolves Thunder line just came out. It was 7.5, 7 at DraftKings now, which looks like it makes sense. The T-Wolves taking 60% of the bets, 85% of the handle. Over at Circa, though, the Thunder receiving all of the money. So the line hasn't moved there. And the over 215 getting most of the action there. That number 214 at DraftKings also taking money on the over. But looking at those early game lines, Will, do you like anything so far, or do you have to wait till we get closer to tip-off to dig a little deeper?
Looks about right to me. Nothing jumping off the page that I'm cutting in line to bet. How about this note from the OKC Denver series? OKC outscores them by 64 points for the game for the 7 games. Denver goes 5-2 against the spread. So that is a very bizarre split. Whoa. Because the two covers for OKC are just complete runaways. They beat them by 40 something and whatever today landed on 32. And the other 5 all got covered by Denver. So very strange from that perspective. Quickly on the baseball, 4-1 Angels lead the Dodgers, but you are about to get some runs. A 3-run homer that looks like, can't tell if that's Will Smith that hit it, but we're tied here as it's 4-4. Oh. And then Rockies and Diamondbacks, a 1-0 game, 9th inning, bases loaded for the Rockies, 1 out. The guy pops up, and now with 2 outs, they can't get the run home. The game is over. Arizona wins 1-0. So a lot of drama unfolding here. And then in the 9th inning, Seattle, San Diego. San Diego is on the mound. Seattle's looking to add to the lead. 4-1. Seattle leads with the bases loaded, nobody out. So a lot of drama here in baseball. It is Will Smith with a game-tying 3-run homer for the Dodgers. You
know what just happened, Will? Remember I was talking about those Angels-Dodgers bets. I was thinking Kikuchi, it was under 17.5 outs recorded. He goes 17.
Unbelievable. I saw him. I think I saw him pulled. Yeah, he got a bunch of pitches in the 5th, and then that ran up his count, and then then he gets pulled. Crazy. Yep. And here I am waiting for my Dodgers first 17 total over 4.5. There's 2 out. Okay, yeah. So they just brought everyone home. There's 2 outs. Oh man. I don't even know. That feels weird. Okay, well, I guess I was kind of right. At least that price was plus 105, so I won't be. Would have lost more on the Kikuchi had that one not hit, but still a chance here. Freddie Freeman is at the plate. I just need 1 run, 1 swing of the bat, 1 dinger, Freddie. Okay, well, we got to go to a break now, but when we come back on the other side, let's hit the Subway Series one more time. We'll take everyone home with our best bets. And remember, whenever you need best bets, you can get them over at VSiN.com with your VSiN Pro subscription. Right now, the VSiN team is giving you a fantastic offer. You can sign up for an annual subscription for just $199, and we'll throw in 2 months for free. So that's 14 months of VSiN Pro access for 50 cents a day. Well worth it to get daily best bets and analysis from all your favorite cappers. Go to VSiN.com/subscribe.
If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine. And maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them. From disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Live Bet Sunday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Welcome back into Live Bet Sunday, the home stretch of the program. I'm Grace Remington with Will Hill. We're going to send you off with our best bets for the evening. Our best bets are brought to you by GBank. Get the GBank Visa Signature Card today. Most credit cards treat sportsbook and gaming transactions as cash advances. That's even when you put your own money on the card. However, GBank treats gaming transactions as purchases. So you're saving up to 3 to 5% on cash advance fees on gaming transactions right there. Also, with GBank, you're earning 1% cashback rewards on all eligible sportsbook and gaming transactions and 2% cashback rewards on all eligible purchases. Apply now at VSiN.com/GBank. That's VSIN.com/GBank. All right. We had a NBA Game 7 today that was not so interesting. Hopefully, the Game 7 in the NHL tonight is a bit more exciting. The Toronto Maple Leafs looked like they were going to go home early after a Game 5 blowout, but they fought back in Game 6, shut out the Panthers 2-0 to force a Game 7, and now here we are. The Leafs, a plus 120 underdog at home. The Panthers minus 138 to minus 142 on the road. Just shop around. Will, you got any bets for this game?
I will go under 1.5 in the first period. You got to lay some juice, like minus 155. I'm seeing minus 159 at DraftKings. I'm okay with that. I just think Game 7, face elimination, chance to go to the conference finals. Both teams come out a little tight, a little conservative. Let's not lose it early. You see that a lot in these Game 7s, whether it's NBA, NHL. Doesn't really apply to baseball, but I will go under. Wouldn't be surprised if we get a 0-0 or 1-0, something like that, first period. So under first period. And, you know what? I'll make it a second additional best bet. I think Toronto wins, so I'll take the plus money on the Maple Leafs with the home ice, with momentum for whatever that's worth. I think that was an impressive job by them to get off the mat and win Game 6 and force a Game 7. That building is going to be insane there tonight. I think they get it done and they win in 7 here and advance to the conference final. So under 1.5 in the first period, and then Maple Leafs at plus money are both plays for me.
I kind of hope that the Maple Leafs win. I think it's just been so fun to watch their fans, and I don't know. It's just it's a nice fan base to root for. Plus, the Florida Panthers. I guess I spent some time covering the Tampa Bay Lightning, so I've seen that rivalry up close. I'm a little bitter toward them. I know I shouldn't be biased as a professional journalist, but the Panthers are just kind of annoying. They're an annoying team, so I'd like to see the Leafs win this one too. I will bet with my heart on this one. But a few plays here from our VSiN hockey expert, Jonathan Davis. He is making an interesting parlay here. A couple alt puck lines. Florida plus 2.5, Toronto plus 2.5, and the under 6.5. Those 3 legs combined for a minus 129 price. He has put 2 units on that. He's also betting Brad Marchand over half an assist at plus 155. Marchand anytime goal at plus 350. Carter Verhaeghe an anytime goal at plus 280. And Verhaeghe over half an assist at plus 182. He has a couple of defensive props as well. But I'm not going to give those away because you have to sign up for VSiN Pro to go see those on VSiN.com. We also have our Final Four set in the NBA. It'll be the Pacers and the Knicks, the T-Wolves and the Thunder. The West starts on Tuesday with OKC a 7.5-point favorite in Game 1. The East gets started on Wednesday with the Knicks a 4-point favorite against the Pacers. But whether it's solo game or series prices, any best bets you have in the NBA, Will?
Yeah, and Scheffler does win the tournament 11 under, bogeys the last hole, and he wins it by 5 strokes. Scotty Scheffler, PGA champion. I like over 5.5 games. I'd be shocked if somebody sweeps or somebody wins in 5. I think this is a very competitive series. I think it's a long series. Knicks are going to have a hard time guarding Indy at times. I think Indy's going to have a hard time. They don't have a great answer defensively for Brunson. They've got a really good home court. I think this is back and forth. I think this is 2-2 after 4, 3-3 after 6. And I think the Knicks ultimately win a 7-game series. So I'm okay laying the juice over 5.5 games minus 165. And I will take the Knicks in 7 at 4-1. If you get to a 7th game, you can hedge and take Indy plus the points and set up not only a guaranteed profit, but a nice middle. I do think it's ultimately the Knicks getting to the finals, but I think it'll take the full 7 games. So I like them in 7. I love the over 5.5. Should be a really good, really competitive series, as the winner will get absolutely destroyed by OKC in the finals, but they'll be happy. They'll be happy they're there. So Knicks, Pacers over 5.5 games, Knicks in 7 plus 400.
I like it. I'm watching the ending of the PGA here, and it just cracks me up. Scotty Scheffler's little baby, Bennett, like, this kid has no idea what his dad is like. I just can't. It just makes me laugh every time I see them celebrate. Oh, the kid does not even know what great of a life he has. But congrats to Scotty. That's his 3rd major championship. The previous 2 were Masters, so he finally wins one away from Augusta. It's his 15th PGA Tour victory. So Chalk wins again. Harris English, Bryson DeChambeau, and Davis Riley tied for 2nd there. So ended up being kind of interesting at the end. Meltdown from John Rahm, but we'll come back and bet golf again this week. Let's get in our Sunday night baseball bets here. The Subway Series wrapping up with David Peterson and the Mets going against Max Fried and the Yankees. What's your favorite play in this one, Will?
I'm going to go over 9.5 again. Do you have the weather in front of you? Because when I checked right before the show, it looked like a really good hitting situation, conducive to offense, wind blown out to right. I don't know if that has changed since, but either way, I think that both lineups kind of due to come around. The Yankees won game 1 6-2 and lost game 2 3-2. Mets have a good offense. This is a good environment for hitting that short porch in right field. I know Fried has been outstanding, but it's going to be hard for him to maintain this 1 ERA. He's going to have a rough one at some point. Maybe it comes tonight. And then Peterson has been good for the Mets, but he's also hittable. So 2 good lineups in 2 pitchers, I think, in this environment could give up some runs. So I will play over 9.5. I'll go over the total here. Good sports night. Game 7 in the NHL. Little Mets Yankees. This should be some fun.
Yeah. Okay. So I can confirm the weather report. It'll be 70 degrees at first pitch, 51% humidity. We have 16-mile-an-hour winds blowing out to right center. So yeah, that's a nice little boost there. A little bit colder than it was yesterday. I mean, it's a night game, so I guess that's to be expected. I don't hate the over. I definitely think both pitchers are due for regression. It's just that 10th run is the hardest to get in baseball. And just if these 2 guys are on, I don't know, not my favorite play of the night, but I don't hate it. My best bet for this game is Max Fried to record a win at plus 135. I think it's the best way to bring down this juicy price, the Yankees minus 163 on the money line. You look at Max Fried. So the 1.11 ERA, as you said, like, that's not sustainable. He has a 3.59 expected ERA, a 2.86 FIP. The 2.86 FIP, not bad, obviously, but those underlying metrics do imply he's due a little bit of negative regression there. Not the highest strikeout rate guy, although he does have a low walk rate. He has just about an average barrel rate, average hard hit. I guess where he could get hit is he allows the ball in play a lot. About a 52% ground ball rate is kind of high. But the Yankees have not lost with him on the mound. He's 6-0 this season. Remember, to record a win, you need your starter to go 5 innings, and he's done that in 8 of 9 starts. The only game he didn't go 5 innings was the first of the season. So I feel very safe there. Basically, I like Max Fried. I need a way. I like the Yankees in this matchup. I just need a more palatable price, and I think this is the way to do it. So, man, I guess we were all over the New York teams.
It's funny you mentioned the first game of the season because I have Fried. I bet him before the year 35-1 to lead the league in wins.
Ooh,
in that first game of the season, if you remember, that was the game the Yankees scored 20-something runs, and he wasn't able to get out of the fifth, wasn't able to get the win, and he's won a lot of games since. If I ever lose that by one or I push whatever, I am going to look back at that first game of the season with some disdain. But, yeah, it's funny you brought that game up against Milwaukee.
That is it. Wow, that would be an all-time bad beat. 35-1. Wow, what a great bet. All right, well, that's going to do it for us here on Live Bet Sunday. He's Will Hill. I'm Grace Remington. This has been fun, Will. I'll see you next weekend, but stay with us here on VSiN as Live Bet Sunday rolls on over at Circa in Las Vegas. Scott Seidenberg has you for the next 4 hours, and it's Joe Serralo to close out the evening with Cashing Out. Again, for Will, I'm Grace. Have a great evening, everyone. This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine. And maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them. From disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.